Welcome to CT Tech Talks, the podcast where we explore the fascinating world of cloud communications and collaboration. We'll delve into the latest trends, technologies, and insights that are shaping the future of business communication and CallTower.
To start us off, I'll ask questions to dive deeper into the opportunity, the success and all that good stuff. But Cynthia, I'm actually going to start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about how the opportunity was brought to you and what made you think, what reason you brought in CallTower into the mix?
Yeah, that's easy. So on Jeff's team, he has, Kelly was there. She was part of our project management team getting this migrated. And she knew a friend of mine that I actually had worked with, 18 years ago at Birch Telecom. And him and I've always just stayed in really good contact. And he's in the channel as well. And they were going out for drinks, like with couples, and Kelly had made a comment to Mike about man, we need to get teams integrated, just talking about project stuff. Mike's like, hey, I know somebody that can help you out. And so he introduced us, and I immediately talked to my sales engineers at Intelisys as well as my peers, and unanimously CallTower came up. And also worked with some of my peers to also, kind of figure out, are we going to do direct routing or operator connect this way? And so kind of did a lot of research before we kind of proposed it. And honestly, CallTower was the perfect fit. So it was the best part.
Awesome. And then Jeff, can you dive into a little bit about what some of the issues were, what you guys were trying to accomplish? And I'm sure you guys had some other options besides CallTower, but in the end, why you guys decided to go with CallTower?
Sure, yeah, I can talk about our story there. So we were a long-time Cisco UCM customer. We had a pretty powerful UCM deployment, but when COVID came, the firm decided that remote work was the future, and that's the direction that we went as an organization. So over the past few years, we had been supporting a on-premise phone system that required people to be connected to the network. But we had a mentality of you can work wherever you want. You can work at a Starbucks, at your house, you can work on the beach, or you could be in an office. So the two ideas didn't align. So we as an organization started looking at what does the market look like for a fully remote phone system that can support our employees wherever they are. Bonus points if it integrates within our billing system and integrates with other collaboration and communication technologies, and massive bonus points if it's a Microsoft product because we are fully invested in the Microsoft ecosystem. So we did look at a couple different vendors. We looked at Five9, we looked at Teams, we looked at WebEx calling, and ultimately landed on Microsoft Teams as the right solution for our organization. Massively driven by the integration with all of our existing collaboration tools, which was Microsoft Teams and Outlook and all of those pieces. So next we started to look at how can we get Teams integrated within our environment in a capacity that makes sense. We didn't think that using Microsoft as our SBC was the right choice. So initially, and I know you guys are going to hate this, we partnered with Verizon. Verizon was a massive partner for us. They owned our MPLS. They owned all of our SIP trunks. They had been a good partner for us for many decades. But ultimately, they massively failed on the implementation of what they called Verizon calling on Microsoft Teams. We engaged with Cynthia to help get that project back on track. But it quickly became apparent that Verizon wasn't going to be successful with this. We weren't going to be successful with a long-term partnership with Verizon. And we needed to find a way that we could move forward with Teams while we continued to close that partnership with Verizon. So yeah, that's where we came to working with Cynthia. She involved us with CallTower. You guys had some really good success stories with other law firms of similar or bigger size. So we made the decision to go with CallTower with Cynthia's help, and the rest is history.
And as far as any integrations or anything like that, were there any add-ons or anything like that?
We initially were targeting a call center type scenario, but Cynthia, you may have to help me here. I think we looked at some options that Verizon was pushing, and then we talked with the team at CallTower, and ultimately just you guys steered us to all the functionality that we need is native within Microsoft Teams. We don't need to go spend an extra $20,000 or $30,000 a year. We can build it out within Teams, and it's been functioning great ever since.
Yeah, that's exactly right, right? Like so many of these UCaaS suppliers, even just a UCaaS, heavy seat or a contact center light seat has so many of the features that you would get with having a traditional CCaaS seat. We didn't have to end up doing that, and a lot of those features were inherent in Teams because you guys decided to go that route. So yeah, that's exactly what ended up happening.
Awesome. And Brian, can you talk a little bit about, how you came to the conclusion working with Jeff and Cynthia that the best route was, our native team solution?
They had already made the decision, Madison, that they wanted to go Teams. So it was just a matter of doing, providing to them. I mean, one of the things that was important was providing the team solution also with cost as well too. So one of the things that was attractive to CallTower is that we could do call pass versus licensing individual users. So that was a nice value add that I know there was, we kind of through our navigation process ended up on that, but they're a law firm, many locations, not everyone's on the phone at the same time. So what we did is we kind of took what they had already kind of gone down the path with Verizon on, and then we were able to fine tune it to get some additional savings there with doing the call path model. So that was a nice add-on as well there, but they had already made the decision to go Teams. So we just wanted to keep it in that native experience.
Gotcha. And then, Jeff and Cynthia, either or, what stands out to you as a partner working with CallTower? And Jeff, at the end of the day, what really stands out to you now as a customer with CallTower? Was it implementation? Was it the communication? Some of those things.
Yeah, I would say for me, what really ended up being just so wonderful was, we didn't end up having to do professional services on this because, the Husch team already has, such, a deep team of people that were perfectly capable of Microsoft, very knowledgeable, right? So we didn't have to do that. So we were very reliant on project management with CallTower to execute this through and see it through. I will say Andy is one of the best project managers that I have ever dealt with on any integration. And we had a really hard timeline that we needed to get to because, leadership at Husch had said we have to have Teams implemented by the end of the year. And we were able to achieve that. So it was a little scary for me because this was my first large CallTower deployment. But safe to say I'm a fan now.
Love to hear that. And Jeff, from your standpoint, what was the major, either selling point, or now that you guys are, going through, you went through the deployment, what was some highlights that stands out to you working with CallTower?
Sure. Yeah. So I had done UCaaS previously with other organizations, and it was a long drawn out deployment, and it was very challenging to make sure that it was right. So we really took a gamble and put a lot of trust in CallTower and the references that you guys had. And it all really paid off in dividends. Like Cynthia said, we had an extremely tight timeline. We wasted 18 months of the project with Verizon, and we needed to rapidly deliver this. My CIO was very adamant that it had to be done by the end of the year. It was tied to his goals and his bonuses and all of that stuff. But again, to mimic Cynthia, the most refreshing part of this project was communication and project management. I agree. Andy was stellar. He guided us in a way that we didn't step on landmines. He was looking 10 steps ahead and making sure that whatever architecture and decisions we were doing and wanting to make made sense within the solutions that you guys could provide, or helping us define and design how we could be successful with our implementation with what our needs are. Communication was always great. You guys were very responsive. We were never wondering what the status was or what success means or where are we at today. It was, it was great communication, great project management. You guys were invested. You were wanting to deliver it just as much as we were. You were working with us as a partner, not as a vendor. And it was really just a really good experience.
Love to hear all this. This is awesome. Brian, is there anything you want to add to that part?
Yeah, no. I think Jeff and Cynthia, nailed it. And it really, really comes down to, the Husch team, really had a lot of frustration, right? They knew the direction they wanted to go. They had some frustration with trying to get it off the ground, I think Andy did a really good job. Jeff and their team did a really good job. Everyone was really collaborating to work to meet those deadlines. Cynthia is, obviously one of our top partners, very organized and how she has things, put together, with her customers, her notes and those types of things. So, really, we were there just at the beginning to develop the solution. Yeah. and work behind the scenes to get Andy, because he's one of our top engineer or project managers and they did all the hard work. So
awesome.
It's just good when we have strong partners, strong implementation, yep. and great customers that are all working together to collaborate and get things done right. So
yes, exactly. And then Jeff, just for knowledge purposes, can you tell me a little bit about your law firm, the size, and a little bit of just a few details around that?
Sure. So we are roughly 2,300 employees today. We have 24 offices across the U.S. But like I said, we have a remote first mentality. So we have employees working all across the country. And we need to support them where they are. We're a big Microsoft shop, and we needed the integration within Microsoft Teams because that directly correlates into our billing system. And the more data we can get out of our phone system, the easier and faster we are to bill our clients accurate data.
Be sure to subscribe to our podcast for more exciting discussions on cloud communications and collaborations with CallTower. Until next time, keep innovating and embracing the power of the cloud.